It's going. Okay. Hey all, Kailani here. Sorry if I'm not my usual upbeat self. I'm a little upset from something that happened earlier, but not to worry about it. It's slowly being taken care of. Anyways, so I said that this week I was going to be talking about safety in mermaiding. Say hi to Yoli. Say hi, Yoli. My baby. That's Yoli. She's my 11-year-old baby girl. She'll be 12 next month. Say happy birthday. Early. No, she doesn't care. Her mom is a crazy fish and she doesn't care. Right? No? You're gonna... Anyways, so yes. Important safety in mermaiding. I've been thinking about this topic a lot. And, to be honest, it's not something that really can be covered in one video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an overall safety tips and warnings and whatnot in this video. And then I'm going to get into specifics, like specifically dangers of breath holding, specifically dangers of like a silicone tail, even just like any tail in general, the beach swimming, all those little specifics, as I've gone through them. Wow, my voice is really scratchy, and I apologize. I don't know why it's suddenly being all scratchy. Anyways, so general tips with mermaiding. Mermaiding, as many of us know, is a wonderful, rewarding experience. It's a lot of fun, and it requires the grace and elegance of these fishy folk under the sea, and a lot of us want to embody the fact that mermaids are creatures of the deep, and we, like dolphins and whales, and can hold their breath for long amounts of time, which I think some whales can hold their breath for like an hour. Don't quote me on that. I need to look it up, but there, a lot of sea mammals can hold their breath for a long time, and a lot of us really, really want to embody that. Well, that's great. And it's fun, trust me. I mean, I've gone swimming off the coast of California here, and it's really fun when you're just holding your breath and swimming along with fish and the current and the waves and whatnot. It's a really great feeling, but there's dangers. Holding your breath can be dangerous for a lot of reasons. You can pass out, which, due to your brain and your heart not having enough oxygen. And that doesn't seem all that bad, but I mean, there are other dangers to it with passing out. It's not just passing out. There can be long-term damage to your brain. And it really isn't a safe thing to do on your own. If you know what you're doing and you've talked to a professional and you've done training and all that, great. Just please be careful when holding your breath. Don't be like, oh, I can hold my breath longer than you. I mean, like, I did that when I was a kid all the time. Trust me, I got to like 30 seconds. So awesome. I mean, now I can hold my breath for about a minute-ish, depending. I mean, when I'm underwater, I can seem to hold my breath for a lot longer, but I could just be thinking it's longer. I don't actually know. I've never timed myself with how long I'm underwater, because I'm usually just playing and having fun. But, yeah, there's also shallow water blackouts, which you think, oh, I'm in shallow water, I'm safe. No, anytime you're holding your breath, anytime, be sure, please. Number one rule for mermaiding, like the number one rule for safety with mermaiding, beyond any other rule, never do it alone. Ever. And I mean like ever. I cannot stress that enough. Always have a buddy, a mertender, your mom, your dad, your grandma, I don't care. Someone who can probably swim fairly well, or at least knows how to, like, rescue you properly, because so many things could happen. You could, become waterlogged because if your feet are tied together and your fabric of your tail for some reason is too heavy, you might start pulling you down. You need someone to pull you out because you might drown. You're holding your breath, you might, black out underneath because you held up for too long. You don't know. I mean, even at the beach, there are a lot of dangers at the beach too. I know, I grew up at the beach. I've experienced some pretty scary stuff on the beach. And I still go back, but I always make sure I have someone to swim with me. So that is my number one tip for anyone out there who wants to be a mermaid. Don't be afraid. I know some of these safety tips might be seen like it's a scary, dangerous thing. It isn't scary. And yes, it's dangerous, but everything has its dangers. Opening an envelope has its dangers. You could get a paper cut. Anyways, but always, please, always have someone with you. I cannot stress that enough. Always have someone with you. But that tip aside, since I just took like half my time saying that, always have someone with you. Always exert caution when doing breath holds. If you feel like you need to breathe, there is a difference between knowing you can go a little farther and you really do actually need to breathe. So when you're holding your breath and it's like, and you're like, and you feel like, you just start getting lightheaded and whatnot, breathe. Please breathe. Oh my gosh, please breathe. Do not pass out. I would feel so bad to hear someone passed out and had problems or whatnot. If you're breathing and like, you can hold your breath, like, I've had times where, like, I know I can hold it for a minute. I've gone past a minute many times. I've gone to a minute 20 before. But, right now, I can't get, I might not be able to get past 45 because I'm out of shape or I haven't held my breath in a long time. So always have caution. Don't push yourself too far. There is pushing yourself and then there is pushing yourself too far. Please be careful, guys. Next thing, swimming. Whether in a pool or at the beach, hopefully you're starting at a pool because a beach has so many factors. I don't even want to get started on it. That's a whole nother video. When wanting to get into mermaiding, I have noticed recently that a lot of you guys either see my tail or another mermaid tail like Iona or Raina or Lanai or Hailey or Lorelei. There are so many mermaids that I can name that have a silicone tail, or even the latex tails, the ones that are, or the hybrid tails where it's like, well, not hybrid, like the neoprene with the silicone on top. That's not so bad. But when you have the full silicone or the full latex tails, you gotta be careful. Some of those, I know there are some people out there who have ordered their full silicone, full latex, and they don't quite fit them just right. But for the people who do, my tail fits me like tighter than a glove. I mean, people say it fits like a glove. Mine's tighter than a glove. I mean, it's some effort to get into that thing. And it's scary. My legs are suctioned together once I'm in the water. They're not coming apart. If I start having a problem, there is no way I can get out of that tail in an instant. So please, important safety tip. If you are a beginning a little merling, even if you're not actually like the age of a merling, but if you have never, ever donned a tail, I highly recommend to just get a monofin. There are many great websites that you can buy monofins from. There's Finis, which you can use the discount Mermaid 20, MERMAID 2 and a 0, to when you purchase your fin to get 20% off your purchase. They have kid size. They have a Finis Wave, which is what I have for practice. Then they have a Finis Rapid, which fits larger foot sizes. It's exactly the same as the Finis Wave. It does have a bigger blade, but it's also made for bigger feet. I've worn one before, and I got about 2 kicks, and it fell off my feet, if that says anything for you. So they do have it for bigger ones. They had little kid ones. There's also the Oceanica, which is... I just forgot her name. Melina, I think it is. Either way, if you look at the Oceanica fin, Mahina, that's what it was, Mahina. I'm terribly sorry. Mahina, or the Oceanica, is another mer fin that you can get. It's a monofin that it's kind of like, you've probably seen instead of Raven's tails, Marbella's tails. There's also, there's also the Dolphin, which is, I haven't swam in it, but I've heard good and bad about it. And then there's also, the Mer Tailor just recently came out with a monofin of his own. So there are plenty of options. You cannot say that there is nothing. There are plenty of options. Finis, and even the ones that I didn't out of the ones I mentioned, those are like the most common ones, but there are so many more. I mean, I can't even, like, begin to, I mean, there's just, yeah. You have options. But I highly recommend starting with a monofin. And I've gone over 10 minutes, but who cares? So yes, I highly recommend getting a monofin, and once you're comfortable with that, another important safety tip is use fabric. I know, some of you are like, but Kailani, I want to look like a real mermaid. I can't do that if I look like I'm wearing a swimsuit around my legs. To be honest, it's really not about looking real in the beginning. It's about being safe and getting used to your tail. It isn't an easy thing to adjust to for some people. Like, I'm in a swim class right now, and we just recently started doing butterfly, which requires a dolphin kick. There are some people in the class who just can't get it. And it's fine. Like, I can't do breaststroke. I don't get it. It just, don't do the, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But, like, freestyle doing this is kind of weird for me. But when we were doing butterfly, man, I have no problem. And it's easy for me. But there are some people in the class who just can't do it. So please make sure, and it's not even also a safety tip, it's also a financial tip. I mean, really, do you want to spend, like, almost $2,000 on something you might use once because you're like, oh, wait, I don't like this? Spend a smaller amount of money on, you know, something simple and get started with that. And if you do like it, work your way up the ladder. I started with the fabric. There was nothing wrong with it. Now, on the other hand, fabric is easier to get out of. So if for some reason you feel panicked, like you're freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I can't swim, I'm gonna drown, you can slip out of it. It is very easy to slip out off that monofin. Your legs are free. You can swim away as you desire. Now, as for realisticness, I mean, there are plenty of fabric tails that look realistic. Little Orca, Melissa, not to be confused with Mermaid Melissa. The Little Orca Mer Network, she makes some pretty awesome fabric tails. Honestly, some of the most realistic I've ever seen. There are many, many ways you can have a realistic tail without having silicone. I just like silicone because my pattern doesn't really work on other stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, I am going way over time. So, yes, have a buddy. Be smart and safe about your breath holds. Start small. Don't start with the silicone tail, because if you've never swam in a silicone tail, you might be dragged to the bottom. And you will be sleeping with the fishes. Well, maybe not, but we don't want that. And honestly, I would hate to hear that some poor kid or person, you know, child, adult, teenager, that someone was injured or hurt because they got a silicone tail as their first tail and it dragged them to the bottom of the pool or something. I'd rather you guys be safe than go for the gold right off the bat. So, yeah, anyways, this has turned into a little bit of extended points on each thing, but I'll talk more about different types of tails and safety on those in another video. But probably later this week, actually, I can probably do a vlog each night for reals this time. Yeah. Anyways, my last pointer, my last tip is beach safety. I know many of us, we relate mermaids with the ocean, which there are plenty of wonderful river mermaids and lake mermaids. I know quite a few of them as friends, and they're lovely. Shout outs to Morena, the mermaid, and JC, and Leilani, and quite a few more that I can't even think of right now because my brain's not working. But anyways, for those of us who associate mermaids with the ocean and wish to swim in the ocean with their tails, I'm fairly certain it's an amazing experience. I haven't done it yet. The water was way too cold, so we just sunned ourselves on the beach. It is dangerous in the ocean. End of story. I shouldn't have to say much more than that. I grew up that should be a blooper. I grew up swimming in the ocean, and you know, I've done boogie boarding. I've done not scuba diving, but I've, you know, done just diving to look at things. I've done snorkeling. I've done body surfing. You know, that was my pool. Well, we had a pool too, but the ocean was my pool. Now, just because I've been swimming there doesn't mean it's not dangerous. I have done boogie boarding, and I fall off the tip of a wave, and that wave, I just get tumbled, and like I'm in a washing machine, and my boogie board one time landed on top of my head, and this boogie board, like, I don't know if you can see, but the boogie board is about this far ahead of me, and, you know, behind me. So it's about a 3 foot, if not longer, boogie board, and it's wider than I am. Well, it's like it's pretty wide. And it lands on my head, so I have nowhere I can go, and this wave is just on top of this boogie board. And I'm stuck underwater. There's nothing I can do. I just relaxed, and I came up for air, and I was fine. But, you know, sometimes things don't work out that way. You know, there could have been a rock, could have hit my head. Which, speaking of, I've almost hit my head on a rock. I was out swimming with a friend, with a buddy, rule number 1, buddy. And I had swam out a little bit, like, not out, like, away from the shore, but, like, out, like, away from her kind of thing. Like, she was here, and I swam that way. And this wave came in, which we weren't expecting, and it pushed me towards a rock. And thankfully, due to some luck and miracle, I managed to stop in the water without hitting the rock and was able to swim away. But I could have been smashed up against a rock. So, and it's not a smooth rock either. It's a pretty sharp, prickly rock. So my point is that there are a lot of dangers in the ocean, and I'm not even worried about sharks. I'm just mainly, you know, there are rip currents, and there's undertow, there's, you know, there's a lot of stuff. And while I don't want to scare you from swimming in the ocean, if you're going to be in your tail, you just have to remember, go on a calm day, have someone help you pass the waves, go on a beach where you know the waves aren't very big. Like, I have a beach that I really, really want to go to for my first swim, because I know that I can get past the waves. I've done it with my mama fin, I'm hoping I can do it in my tail. Check surf conditions. I mean, it sucks to bring all your gear there and then you find out you can't swim. So, you know, check surf conditions before you go to the beach. I try to do, I mean, if you already have an event planned, you already have an event planned, but if it's just like, hey, let's go to the beach, make sure to check surf conditions. But anyways, so, yeah, just be safe. Real quick recap, because hitting 18 minutes, and who wants to listen to me talk for 20 minutes? Real quick recap. Number 1, what is it? Swim with a buddy. Number 2, be careful when holding your breath. Pay attention to your body. Number 3, start out small. Can't do 3 with that hand. 3, there we go. All right, here, hang on. Number 3, there we go. Number 3. Number 3, what was number 3? Right, start out small. Don't start with a silicone tail. Start simple and get used to it. Number 4, I think that's the beach one. Be careful at the beach. Be careful at the beach. Be careful at something, yeah. I was going to try to make something cute out of that. Didn't work. But yeah, so, buddy, breath, small, beach. Too bad that one's not a B. That would be nice. But yeah, buddy, breath, small, beach. I will go over, let's see, what should I do next week? Or tomorrow. I'll do breath holds tomorrow. I'll talk about that and the safety and importance of that. And, yeah. So, if I forgot anything, and you watch this video and you want me to include it in another video, please comment below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you can always email me with any questions or concerns at Kailanithemermaid@gmail.com. And be sure to like my Facebook. So live long, swim free. Shall see you later, guppies.